Hello, welcome to episode 50. We made it 50 episodes. This is the 50th episode of the Daily Disney Podcast. Thank you so much for being here and for tuning in. Very excited to roll this out. This is our 50th anniversary show. Woo! Thank you so much for following along. And I do ask that you please like and subscribe to the channel. We are on YouTube. Daily Disney Podcast. We are on all of your favorite podcast outlets under the Daily Disney Podcast and then under Daily Disney Pod on the Twitterverse. Also, you can check us out online at dailycraig.net. That's where we host all of our videos and audio files and everything like that. We've got some other podcasts out there, not just Disney stuff as well. So make sure you check that out. Okay, today, 50th anniversary. We are going to look at what we talked about. What have we talked about over these 50 episodes? Well, let's start at the very beginning. We talked about the Walt Disney World parks. We ranked those. Epcot was number one. I had a lot of good feedback. A lot of people kind of believed the exact same thing, that Epcot was the number one park. So, very happy that some people kind of had the same thinking as us, and very happy that that's my park. And, in fact, I'm still getting some pictures from people that are at Epcot saying, hey, here, look at this. Look at the new light on the ball and everything like that. And it is the best park. It will probably always be my favorite park. So we talked about that early in the process. We also talked about the Contemporary. Why is it the best resort at Walt Disney World? And honestly, I think it's amazing. I think it's great. It's got the history. It's got the just vintage Disney. It's got the views. It's got the monorail. There's so much to like about the Contemporary that it is my favorite resort. And hopefully you get the chance to stay there at some point. I know it's expensive. I know that it's tough to get in, but it is amazing. Top 5 Epcot rides. Number 1 was Test Track. Test Track is my favorite ride in Epcot. I think it's awesome. It's so much fun. I'm from Indianapolis here, so we love speed, we love racing, and that's as close as I'm going to get to really kind of going quick around a turn, especially down there at Disney. So it is, in my eyes, the best ride at Epcot. The top 3 worst sit-down restaurants at Disney. Number 1 is the Coral Reef. It's not good. I don't like it. It's not very enjoyable. We got sick when we ate there. It's just not very good for us. We do not really care for seafood. The other stuff that we got did not really taste good. And it's one that we will never go back to, which stinks because the overall view, feeling, being in there is really, really cool. It's just the food's gross. We then talked about the top 3 restaurants at Walt Disney World. We went negative, then we went positive. Via Napoli, the best place to eat on property. The best place, the best pizza, hands down. It is so delicious. Disney Transportation. We broke that down on episode number 8. The monorail is the most fun for the transportation. I hate the bus system, but it's one that you use, and it's free. So, you use it. You do. I'm hopefully going to get on the Skyliner when we get back. We have not had the chance to be there when that is active, but monorail, by far, is the most fun. What rides need an overlay? There's a lot of those out there. Now that we're looking back, there's still a few back there that you could put that overlay for. Personally, I think like Splash Mountain, some of those could do more. There's just a ton of rides that you can always have that holiday overlay. So we kind of touched on that on episode number 9. Number 10, we looked at Test Track. We looked at why it's the best. We looked at how great it is and really dug into that further than what we dug into before when I said that was the best ride. What do we know about the Guardians of the Galaxy ride? Well, we recorded that in December. There's already been a lot of updates since then, the last couple months. It appears we're going to get that right in 2022, maybe. Fingers crossed, we'll see. The favorite resort in each category. Remember, there's the deluxe and moderate and value. You already know my deluxe. It's the Contemporary. But I love Caribbean Beach, and there's a few others in there that I really, really like. World Showcase. Do you go left or right? Do you go to Canada or Mexico? Which one do you go to? I think Just out of habit, we always go left, hit Mexico, and then you're off. Disney transportation ideas, different dream Disney transportation ideas, different things you could do. That's when we talked about expanding the monorail. Oh, excuse me, I had to sneeze there. Exploring Adventureland in Magic Kingdom. We started the series in the middle of December. Episode 14, we're going to look at all the different lands at all the different parks. And we started with Adventureland, looking at the Jungle Cruise and all that's going on in that line. I'm sorry, in that land. What makes Disney World so frustrating? Well, a lot of things do, right? And we recorded that in December 15th, and there's probably even more. But there's a lot of frustrations right now with looking at your advanced dining, looking at the no meal plan, looking at the caps on the people that can still get in the park, looking at the things that are really going on with Lightning Lane and Genie Plus. A lot of frustrations, a lot of them out there. And on top of that, the parks are insanely busy right now. A trip around Frontierland. And then from Adventureland, we hit up Frontierland and circle around there. Star Wars Hotel, the Galactic Star Cruiser. It's not exactly what the Star Wars fans wanted, and the reservations are finally starting to get full here in the last couple weeks. But in the middle of December, there were still openings. 5 things I can't wait to experience in 2022. There were a lot of those. Tron was one, the different things going on. But ultimately, at the end of the day, there was just a ton of new, exciting things for me that I've never seen. The parades are back. Hopefully we get the characters. A lot of things going back to normal for 2022. And we talked about it in episode 19. On episode 20, we talked about 3 rides that I wish would return. Mr. Toad, right? Mr. Toad is an amazing ride. It was so much fun. You can still ride it out in California, but it is one that I wish it would somehow come back. It won't. I know it won't, but it was really, really cool. Is it worth it to stay on Disney property? Episode 21. Well, in my eyes, I think so, but you got me thinking. You've never had me thinking before. I've always been property, no questions. Let's move it along. Let's just pay the cost and go. But it's really a lot to think of now. You do not get as many perks as you used to. 3 things Disney does better than anybody else. Customer service, the cast members, their creativity, being unique. There's still a lot that they do right. Indiana Jones Stunt Spectacular was back towards the end of December, and you can now book at All-Star Movies. Things are slowly getting back to normal. In episode 23, we really discussed what was kind of coming back, what was happening to make us feel normal again. We look back at the People Mover on episode 24. People Mover is a fantastic ride. It's a great thing at the Magic Kingdom, and we looked into that with great depth. Christmas at Walt Disney World. We talked about this on December 24th. What don't you want to miss? So many fun, cool things. And it's really one that you don't need to, you can't miss anything. You need to see it all. You need to see the gingerbread houses. You need to see the Christmas trees. Toy Story Mania, a must ride. Heck yeah. It's one of the greatest rides out there. It's so much fun. Each time I feel like it's a game against, obviously, the person you're sitting next to, and it's a lot of good time. 3 rides I will face my fears and conquer on my next trip. Sound like a little pansy with this one, but it's kind of those mountains. I really want to get on Space Mountain, Splash Mountain. Quite a few of those that I want to get on. On episode 28, we talked about Disney Quest. It's one that would not stand the test of time right now, but it was really cool back in the day. And what are they going to do with that space? Now it's not the NBA land, so what are you going to do? New Year's Eve at Disney World, we talked about this on December 29th. It looks like so much fun, but it's so crazy. There's so many great videos out there. There's cool things where you put headphones on and you have like your own little dance party. So much going on specifically at Epcot. I would love to be there, but I bet after about an hour I'd get real sick of the crowds. That's for sure. On episode 30, we explored Liberty Square, talked about what was going on in that great land at Disney World. So many new things coming in 2022. On episode 31, January 1st, we looked at what was upcoming for the year. Some announcements were made, so hopefully we get Guardians of the Galaxy, and we'll see. Will Tron open this year? We'll see. Episode 32, we talked about Spaceship Earth and why it is the best ride at Walt Disney World. And that's kind of an interesting argument because I said Test Track was the best ride at Epcot, but I think Spaceship Earth is the best ride at Disney World. Yeah, I can change my mind, right? I can change my mind. On episode 33, we talked about the monorail and how it is the best way to get around. A couple of different ways of talking about this in different episodes, but the monorail is the best way to get around. On episode 34, we talked about attractions that I would refurbish right now. And honestly, there's a lot more you could add to that list, but there's a lot of these that are just older and need some help, need some TLC, and Spaceship Earth was actually on that list. So my 3 favorite and least favorite rides at the Magic Kingdom: People Mover. What else can I say? People Mover is one of the best rides out there, and it was on top of the list. What happened on the Magical Express on episode 36? Well, we know that it went away, but how did it go away? What was the history about that? We really kind of looked into what happened there. There was a new ticket option for Florida residents, and a bunch of food prices increased, and of course the insanity for the Figment popcorn bucket. We talked about that on episode 37. 3 attractions I miss a ton at the Magic Kingdom, episode 38. I hate to say this, but If You Had Wings was one of them, and so was Snow White, and so was Mr. Toad, of course. So, looking back, 3 pillars of success from the Disney CEO, episode 39, that was the weirdest, dumbest, oddest thing I've ever seen in my entire life. That memo that they knew was going to get leaked. That was crazy. That was really crazy to me. Episode 40, we talked about our friend Figment. Why is he so popular? He is. He's the best. He's the cutest little dragon out there. And we kind of looked into what made him that. The best attractions at night at Walt Disney World in episode 41. It's hard to beat the People Mover. It's hard to beat Splash Mountain. Hard to beat some of those that you get so many great views. So many things to do during a non-park day at Walt Disney World, episode 42. There's a ton of things to do. Explore the pools, explore the resorts, go do some shopping, Disney Springs. Episode 43, what is up with the popularity of these popcorn buckets? We looked at all the popcorn buckets that are out there right now, talked about what you could possibly do with them, and it's one of those that a lot of people were really interested in what you can still get. Everybody wants the Figment one, but there's a bunch of different options out there. There's some really cool Dumbo ones and Mickey and Minnie and different things like that. Episode 44, we took a trip back to a great movie ride, one of the best rides and one of the original rides at MGM Studios. It's always great to look back and remember that ride. Episode 45, why do we lose our minds at Walt Disney World? There's times when we go into that park and we look around and it is just insanity. People are screaming at each other and yelling at kids and yelling at cast members and cutting each other. Let's be kind. We don't need to lose our minds. We're all on vacation. We're all spending the same amount of money. We know that it's expensive. Just relax. Episode 46, we talked about the Roundup Rodeo. The Toy Story restaurant will open in 2022. Kind of looked at the menu and explored how needed that is in that area of the park. Episode 47, we looked back at Horizons and why it was one of the best, coolest attractions. It's got this great cult following, so we kind of looked at that. And we actually also looked at it and said, will it stand up today? Sort of. Why is it so difficult to visit Walt Disney World now? In episode 48, it's just very difficult, right? It's pricey. It's really tough to get reservations. It's tough to get rides reservations. It's tough to make your planning because everything's changing. It's just really difficult. And then the last episode we had 3 things you need to explore before you book your trip. You need to look at the calendar. You need to look and see what's coming for refurbishments, and you really need to do your planning, not just your planning for the parks, but planning for your actual whole vacation. What should you expect when you get down to Florida, when you get to the resort? Don't be surprised. You need to do your due diligence to understand what you need to look for. So that's it. That's a quick look and breakdown of what we've talked about for the last 49 episodes. I'm so thankful that you've been here and so thankful you've joined us for every one of these. I have a lot of fun. Again, I'm in Indianapolis, Indiana, and it is going to be warm starting in February, but then we're going to hit some snowstorms very, very quickly. So it makes me happy every day to kind of imagine being in Orlando and being at the parks and being on the monorail and talking about these things and remembering the old school rides. And as I look back, we did talk a lot about what's going on now and in the future, and that's what I want to do and talk about the news. But I also want to look back. There are so many good podcasts that are giving you the news, and you can find the news up to the minute. You don't need that from me. How can I provide you a few minutes every day to escape reality and go down to Disney with us? So that's what I'm looking for. we're really going to focus in on more rides. We're going to look at the history of the rides, look at the parks, look at the different lands in the parks, look at the hotels, the resorts. We're really going to start to do that more. So, hopefully it's a topic that you enjoy. If there's anything crazy going on or anything, that we need to break in with and talk about, we will. But we're really going to look at everything kind of from a 30,000 foot level. Let's look at the extinct attractions. Let's look at what's coming. The next episode, I think we're going to look at Tron. We're going to dig into the existing Tron that's overseas and kind of what we expect at our park. But anyway, thanks again for tuning in. Thank you. I'm so thankful we got to episode 50. I love doing this, and I'm so thankful that you're here following along with us. I hope to do this more frequently every single day. It's called the Daily Disney Podcast because I was trying to force myself to do this every day, and real life gets in the way sometimes. So I'm hopefully going to be a little bit better with the time management, and we'll kind of go from there. So thank you so much. Make sure you like and subscribe on all the different channels. Make sure you like and subscribe. Watch us on the YouTube channel as well, and on Twitter, Daily Disney Pod. Thank you so much, and here's to 50 more, and hopefully a lot more than that. Thank you.